Hello guys. Alright, so in this tutorial what we've been learning is these three tricks on Photoshop. So for this we want to create a drop light that will be dropping from this lamp, right? Obviously, because as we see, this is not looking really realistic. We have light obviously in the night, but we don't have a drop of that light. So the first thing we want to do here is to come to our layers here. Alright, so under your layers panel here, click on create a new layer. So that has been created. So you can name this anything you want. So I'll double click here and name this say light. Right. So the very next thing you want to do is to come to your tools panel, click on gradient. So I'm clicking on gradient there. So I have a color here. Right, so I'll click on my gradient color to edit my color. Right, so what I want to do here is to click up here, reduce the opacity of that color, and click on that color and totally delete that. So after deleting that, right, I will also come to the opacity of this. I want this to be let's make this something around 80. Right, 80 is fine. So I'll hit the OK button. Right, so the very next thing to do is to come to your rectangular marquee tool here. That's your second tool. Click on OK. So you push that out like so. Right, so we have something like this. Return to your gradient. Right, so it's having the color you just created. Right, so push from the top down like so. Right, so we have something like that. So click on your first tool, that's your move tool, hit Ctrl T on your keyboard. Right, so that's to activate your transform tool basically. Right, click on your mouse, right, then hit perspective. So after hitting perspective, you can push this like so. Right, so hit OK once you're satisfied with that. You can also hit Ctrl D to deselect that selection. Right, so we have something like this for our light. Right, so you can take this, instead of creating that again, you can easily duplicate. You can hold Alt on your keyboard and then drag. Right, so reduce this, reduce the size of this, and push, reduce the size a little bit more. Right, then push up. Right, so we do the same thing for the last one there. Reduce the size, then push up. Yes, so this is how we create this first light effect for this. I hope I'm quite clear. Right, so we'll be moving to the next one. Right, for this, what we want to do with this is to create a blur effect. This lady is obviously moving, but I want the background to look like there's motion happening. Right, so what we want to do, the first thing we want to do is to duplicate this layer. Right, so hit Ctrl G on your keyboard. Right, so we have two layers now. The very next thing you want to do is to come here to your menus panel. So on the menu panel, hit on select. So click subject. So Photoshop will try to think about your subject, who your subject in your image is. So, and that's obviously this lady here. So a selection has been made on her. Right, so what you want to do next is to add a layer mask. Click on add the layer mask. Right, so you see that in your layer mask the lady that was selected has been cut out. Right, so this is her here. So the very next thing you want to do is to hold Ctrl and keyboard and click on the layer mask. So the selection is made again. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to come to select again, go to modify and expand. Right, so let's leave it at 25. Right, so put you on to 25, hit on OK. Right, right? So you see that we have like a little bit of space around R, right? Because when we start in this effect, we don't want it to affect R at all. So we are leaving like space around R, right? So that's the idea for that. So for this, I'll layer the bottom here, same background. Once click on that and unlock that layer, right? So the very next thing you want to do is to come to your edit and hit on fill, right? So you hit OK. That's on your layer. This one saying layer 0 here, right? So you wait for Photoshop to fill that up. Alright, so that has been added, right? So the last thing you want to do is to right click on this layer down here and convert that to smart object. Convert that to a smart object. So now you can deselect your subject. You can hit Ctrl D to deselect. So the next thing we're doing is to come to filter, which is our last step. Click on blur, then hit motion blur, right? So obviously we're already seeing the motion happening, so you can play with this the distance, right? But I think 120 is looking cool for me, right? So I'll hit OK. So this is what we have. As you can see, the motion is affecting the background without touching my subject, and we also have the effect, affecting the wheel of the skateboard, which is quite perfect for me to depict motion, right? So that's how you get this. So if there's anything confusing, just leave a comment in the description, in the comment section below. I'm going to attend to you. So for this last effect, what we want to do here is to reduce the stomach of our subject, right? So to achieve that, you hit Ctrl G on your keyboard, right? So then come here to filter, hit liquify. You have this shortcut here, Shift Ctrl X. So hit that. Alright, so we have the liquify panel open up here. So what you can do here is to play with the size of a brush, right? So you see this is actually too big, so we can leave that at say 75 works, right? You can also work with your pressure. Your pressure is how intense your brush will be when you're applying this. So I'll leave mine at 70. Let's say 70. Alright, so you begin to dab this to your subject's stomach, like so, right? Don't want to do this too much. You want it to be as realistic as possible, right? So you just push down. Alright, I think I'll work with this. So you can try play with your the property of your brush and every other thing we have here, right, to try get your desired result. So once you're satisfied, you can hit OK. So we have something like this, right? So yeah, and that brings us to the end of today's video, today's tutorial. So if you learned one or two, consider subscribing to the channel, and every resources used for this tutorial will be dropped in the description below, so try checking it out.